how'd the first minicamp go?
It was good. It was exciting. Get on the grass, get out of our cubicles upstairs, and get these guys moving around in our system, and kind of seeing the whole development of the learning process, carrying it over to the field. It's been fun.
What's it like watching Russell work, and what stands out about that?
Well, looking at him from afar for the last 6 years and playing him almost, it seems like every season, just his process and how he works. And it's not just out here; it's in the meeting room. It's it's watching video in the building, outside the building. He does all the right things. He's a pro's pro, and he's a leader deep down inside. He wants the best for himself, but he also wants the best for the team. So with his work habits, it's rubbing off on those other guys, which is exciting, and you can't beat that.
How do you see Melvin Gordon being utilized?
Melvin, with him being in the system and back in the system and utilizing him, he's just going to be another opportunity for us to get another guy back there to run the outside zone, third down situations. Just having that 1-2 punch, all those other guys are working their tail off as well. You got Mike Boone and Crockett, and those guys are really putting in the work. So it's really exciting to get him on the field as well.
Is there a 1-2, meaning Javonte's 1 and Gordon's 2?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying just guys that are going to be on the field that can change up the game with their pace, with fresh legs. It's not necessarily a 1 and a 2 right now.
How do you balance a backfield like that where you have multiple guys that are capable? Do you like riding the hot hand? Do you like it being one guy one game, another guy the next?
It's kind of almost a feel of a game. It's kind of a similar situation we had in Green Bay with a speeder guy and then a downhill guy, and you just want to utilize those guys. And so it's a long season. You don't want to bang them up. You want to be smart with them and just use their strengths and put them out on the field and make them work. So we're excited to have both those guys.
How ready do you think Alberto is to kind of take this next step?
It's still early in this process. Everybody is still getting evaluated. The real question is when we come on with Paz, with everyone's evaluation. I think he's doing a really good job out there as far as just understanding the system and putting the extra work. I think Coach Moreland does a really good job with those guys and getting them prepared. We ask a lot in the tight ends in this system. They're doing everything that a halfback would do in protection or a fullback, and they also have to split out like a receiver. So there's a lot on those guys' plates, and I think Coach Moreland and those guys are going to put in the work and get them right.
How important was Coach Berry's familiarity with this system for hiring you?
Extremely important. It's like you're not having to worry about the terminology, not having to worry about going through the teach tapes and making sure that everything is built from the ground up. It's very refreshing to have Butch in the system. He was with us in Green Bay, kind of across the ball, and he went to San Francisco, running a very similar style. So he's got the tenacity. If you haven't noticed, he does a really good job of getting those guys going. And he's demanding the best for those guys. And just like Ben Steele does a really good job with those guys as a counterpart, and Coach Ramon Chin-Young, all those guys are speaking the same lingo and forcing those guys to put their best foot forward each day.
I know it's early, but where are Glasgow and Miners playing right now? Where would they be? Are they guard? Was Glasgow being looked at guard and center?
Well, right now they're interchangeable at this point. We want to see where they can fit. If their ability to play center and snap the ball is always a crucial backup, you want to have that in your back pocket. But those guys are going to kind of bounce around, as you'll see, just to see them fit in different spots and see them direct traffic inside and then play guard and kind of help the tackles out as far as just the interior stuff. So, we're going to keep moving guys around and find the best 5.
Was there anything?
How hard is it to have an O-line competition in any of those spots without pads on?
It's very difficult when you're trying to get them to run off the ball. That's where Indy's so important. That's why you're getting those opportunities to hit bags and see them run off the ball. As far as getting their landmarks and opening up and run, which is truly what we're looking for, you can kind of feel that on video, but you will never know until you get pads on.
Is there anything about Russell Wilson in these past 3 days that has surprised you specifically?
Nothing, because being around Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers and him, his process is very similar in a sense with the preparation. It's not a mistake that he's who he is and how successful he is. It's ball. Life is ball for him, and it's exciting because when you get around guys like that, we can't talk ball to our wives because they get bored and they kick us out. So we get to come home, and we consider this home too. We come home and we talk ball the whole time, and he's just a really, really good thinker outside the box as well. He's always looking for the best interest of the offense and not just himself. He's pointing out strengths of the receivers and the tight ends and the backs and the offensive line. So he's almost a coach on the field, which is really fun.
So you think Sierra gets tired talking about ball?
I don't think so. Being around her, she's all in. which is fun. She's a great support system. You know, she's a great counterbalance for him, but she could talk ball all day.
As a first-time offensive coordinator, how much coaching are you getting from Hackett? And, you know, how much do you spend each day with him as far as film, organizing practice, reviewing the practice?
You know, Coach Hackett and I, we've been working 3 years together. It's kind of like we're finishing each other's sentences in a lot of the times as far as structure and what he's looking for each and every period, and, you know, mixing in the play passes and the quick game and the drop back and the outside zone, the inside zone. You know, he's very comfortable with how we're programming everything. As far as watching practice, we do that as a group, as all the offensive coaches, and kind of talk the lingo and making sure everybody's on the same page.
How will you guys rep game situations, and are you doing something like that either through film yourselves? How do you guys practice?
We always coach the situational ball inside, you know, in those meetings. When those do come up, when you're teaching a concept, we'll use this in the red zone. We'll use this on third down. Got to know the down and distance. We got to be on everything. So when we implement our system, it's also talking about situational football and how important that is.
Why has there been such an emphasis on kind of the winning the West motto? And was that something that came from Green Bay that they did there?
It's always your mindset going into everything. You win your division, you're sitting in a really good spot in the playoffs, and you're pushing for that home field advantage. So we're always pushing to win the West, and you know that's their number one mindset. When you get tired, it gets hot, and you know things are kind of mixed in your brain because of the concepts. You got to really focus on what you're here to do. And it's not just to get a paycheck, it's to win the division and win everything and be proud to be a champion. So having those high standards is what, you know, Coach Hackett is ingrained in the entire organization, and everyone is buying in so far, which has been fun.
What's been your role in leading up to the draft process?
Just kind of seeing and combing, you know, every position on the field. It's kind of being like, you know, watching a couple cut-ups on some guys and you know, position coaches bringing it to my attention because there's a lot going on the other side. So, you know, just kind of peeking those things, seeing the rankings and kind of putting my mark on them and giving my opinion on it. But as far as the collaboration, Georgia's been awesome with just an open line of communication with Hackett, myself, and Stukes. Like he's been awesome with this whole process, and we're excited about this weekend.
What are the most important qualities an offensive lineman has to have in this scheme?
Say that one more time.
What's the most important qualities an offensive lineman, as you're looking at draft prospects, has to have in this scheme?
Oh, smart and tough. If you got those two attributes, then we can roll with that. So that's something we're always looking for.